Hi everyone and welcome to this collective tarot tap-in. I'm super happy about everybody who is joining the live, but of course also hi to everybody who is watching this later. You can watch this anytime. It is titled for the 5-5 portal on May 5th, 2026. But if you find this at another time and it is inspiring for you, then of course you can use this video as an inspiration. I work with the tarot cards and with the symbolism of Western astrology to gain a picture, maybe some new understanding, maybe uncover some layers of consciousness that we haven't been aware of, build awareness, create awareness, make new perspectives happen, maybe new pathways in our brain. And yeah, we're gonna look at the cards, what they want to tell us and what they want to show us. All right. This is a beautiful day today, I have to say. I'm really enjoying this May 5th here in Vienna, Austria. It's very, very nice weather outside. It's a little summery even, summery feeling. So yeah, really nice. All right. We have a Knight of Swords. I like a Knight of Swords. A Knight of Swords in the middle of the reading, and I want to pull 9 cards today. I was thinking about 9-card reading for some reason. Knight of Swords, I'm sorry, is a very fast thinking, straight to the point type of guy or gal, you know. It is a persona card, so of course, court card, so of course it can be about a person or about you, specifically air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So the swords speak about the air signs. The Knight of Swords is a really, really, really intense, smart and strategic guy, very analytical, very straight to the point. As you can see, he's really calculating, but in a good way. He doesn't necessarily need to be, you know, calculating in a mischievous way. And he knows exactly where he's going. As you can see, he knows exactly his target or his goal. And there is a lot of clear communication also coming from the knights, especially from the Knight of Swords, because the swords speak of communication. The swords speak of everything that has to do also with the intellect, with language, also with you know, strategizing, analyzing, all these kinds of stuff. So the Knight of Swords is a really straight to the point type of guy, very analytical, very rational, very smart, very fast. So we might be really fast in our thinking right now. We might exactly know where we want to go. And this 5-5 portal is type of also this manifesting portal where we actually have this chance of stepping into this new version of ourselves really quick. So we can kind of jump and quantum jump. So this is a really nice moment here. With the Knight of Swords, we might have built a strategy for a really long time. And we might have built a plan that we are now implementing, and we are moving really, really fast. So let's see what we are coming out of here. Ooh, Page of Wands. Yeah, and it is a very adventurous and open and fun and joyous plan as well. And we're kind of also at the same time experimenting and not taking ourselves too seriously, which is the Page of Wands here. So this is a really, really nice energy also when it comes to being motivated, being open, being adventurous, being maybe a little, maybe even a little explorative. Is that a word? Explore, open to explore and open to also do new things and just have fun and just have a good time also. That's also the Page of Wands. So we're coming really from a fun, open and curious place as well. And the Page of Wands is really curious about new experiences and about building experiences, about really also understanding or gaining more understanding of how to use his will, because this is really what he's talking about here and what this card is talking about here when he's holding this wand in his hand, the wand representing his will. And he's really learning, as all the pages are always learning, how to really use his will, how to maybe even grow his will, maybe even how to get better at getting what he wants and doing what he wants without, you know, hurting people, of course. But he's the really active, motivated guy who gets going and who wants to experience new stuff. So this is really fun. And the Knight of Swords brings a lot of speed into this, as you can see. A lot of movement, fast movement, and maybe also a lot of fast thoughts. Ooh, and then we have a King of Cups. This is really, really powerful. This is a really powerful row. I love it. With all this really fast, fresh, calculated, and at the same time open-minded energy, we are still arriving here at a very, very emotionally grounded and stable place. So this is nearly like a very artful way of doing something, of stepping into our full-grown emotional identity, which is the King of Cups. It's really beautiful. So we have a really good moment or a really good position right now to handle our feelings. We're really grown up when it comes to our feelings, our emotions. We are really meeting life from an emotional place, but not whimsical place, if you know what I mean. So we understand how to also feel a situation, but stay grounded and stay calm, and really be an emotional human that still at the same time has control over itself. That's very, very beautiful. The King of Cups is often the artist, the healer, the therapist, all these types of professions or characters who work with their emotions, who have a very deep and rich and colorful emotional life that they can gain inspiration from. At the same time, they're really good at also keeping this life in balance. So it's a very inspired card. It's really, really beautiful. Wow, yeah, this seems like a very nice, I want to say, emancipation of the self. So we have these layers of our identity that are all bringing us this really beautiful, exciting, fun, and at the same time also crisp. I want to say, for some reason, with the Knight of Swords, crisp. Yeah, moment in time where we can really experience life from a very, very mature place. And I think we can really fully experience life from a very stable and mature emotional place. It's beautiful. Okay, well, it's a lot about the will and a lot about also action. I feel like the page, the knight, and the king, they're all archetypal male energy in a sense. So they're all about also acting and making things happen. Being also, I feel like the King of Cups is somewhat a metaphor or a symbol for also being as an act. Not being as just existing, but being as already something that we're doing. Being as doing, if that makes sense. I don't know. All right, let's see. Ooh, beautiful. The High Priestess. Super tuned in, tapped in. The High Priestess in the subconscious here. We do have a very strong connection to maybe a bigger guidance that we feel deep within ourselves. We are very tuned in to our intuition. We really know where we want to go intuitively, even though, you know, it doesn't have to be a big sign that says go here, but we do have this plan, this strategy that just feels right. That feels like we are, on one hand, doing a rational, smart thing. At the same time, it's also really aligned with our deeper sense of self and an intuitive motive, I want to say. High Priestess is beautiful here. Very aligned with our spiritual selves and our deeper spiritual understanding of how we navigate this experience called life. All right, so the Chariot in the reverse. Maybe we haven't been there quite yet. Maybe we have been a little back and forth on how to act, where to go, figuring out what we actually want. As I said, the Page of Wands is that type of person who is also kind of figuring out what he wants. With the Chariot in the reverse here in the subconscious, it is also a card that is saying we might have had some anxiety about where to move towards. We might have not trusted our intuition, or might have not known, wait, what is my intuition? What is my actual fears? What is my anxieties? What is programming from the past? Sometimes we are not really so much in tune with our intuition as we think, because our system can kind of fake that for us, or fears or certain events from the past have built an attention system in us and kind of is warning us, like a warning system, which we think is our intuition, but it's really not. So we want to make sure, oh, beautiful, Ace of Cups. We want to make sure that we learn more and more to distinguish between the two, between a neurological response, or like a body response to danger that we've experienced in the past, versus what intuition actually means. So yeah, this is something I think we might now have a much clearer understanding of with this Knight of Swords. The Ace of Cups here coming up in the subconscious here in what we are moving into. It's beautiful. Ace of Cups and the King of Cups, and he is already holding this Ace of Cups in his hands. So we feel that we have this source of unconditional love, unconditional emotional wealth, also deep within us, that we can always draw from, that we can always generate from within ourselves, that we have access to. I really want to say that we always have access to. The King of Cups really did master his inner emotional world so much that he exactly knows that he can always tap in deep within himself to really generate and refuel and regain and recreate, I even want to say, or create love in the deepest, purest, highest form, which is here this Ace of Cups. It's like the Holy Grail. It's like the all-healing ambrosia, you know? So, and he is holding this in his hand. And he's very, he acts very responsible with this cup. He's not just giving it out. He's holding it very steady, very close to himself, very carefully, very strongly, but not guarded, or not. He's not hiding it. He's not covering it. He lets people see that he has this, but he's giving it responsibly. And he knows he can always get more. And he knows that this is the type of love that he generated from probably healing himself, I really want to say. So we've done the work to arrive at this point where we can really very, very maturely handle love, our own love within, the love we give out, the love we receive, and the love we generate through our actions. And I think actions here are really, really important. This is being reserved, deep, but not cruel and gatekeeping. This is being quiet. This is really the rock in the quiet, the rock in the storm, the quiet rock in the storm, you know. This is really the quiet force that is generating love and is capable of tapping into an endless, really river and flow of love, which is represented here by the Ace of Cups, that is really accessible to us all in reality, but we have to learn how to tap into it. And I think this King of Cups, with this King of Cups, we have mastered this art. Wow, the Sun. We might have had a huge self-realization here also, like a very conscious understanding of who we actually are, who we want to be in this world, how we want to live, how we want to show ourselves. It's not so much about who, it's not about so much being somebody, you know, it's more, the Sun is, as I mentioned before, just about being the self, being yourself, being your individual self. And doing that and living that in the most light and fun and joyful and open and positive and light bringing way. So there might still have been a little bit of something holding us back or something irritating us to really allow ourselves to be that, with the Chariot here in the reverse, because we might have not always, you know, most of us or so many people were not really allowed to be themselves, or were censored, or we all as a kid, you know, were censored by educators, or by, maybe not by your parents, you know, maybe your parents were great, but maybe some teachers, maybe some people on the street said you cannot do that. Maybe we get censored in our true selves, and that is not necessarily because people want to harm us. It's just, it happens in living in society, and people sometimes don't even mean harm. They want to, they mean good, but they don't understand that they might do harm with censoring other people, or with correcting other people, or with even just suggesting things to other people. And there is this theme, there has been this theme in the past of knowing exactly who we are, also having the courage and kind of the openness and the, I want to say, F it attitude with the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands also has a kind of like, oh, F it, you know, let's just do this thing, whatever, doesn't matter. We have this attitude, but still there is deep within maybe some deeper seated, like, uncomfortable feeling doing it. There might be, that's so interesting. Huh. I really like that. I really like that, what my inner monologue kind of is telling me right now. Being ourselves might have felt uncomfortable for reasons, you know, various reasons. And we're kind of, over it, I feel like. Kind of over it, because it's different when you have this identity crisis where you're like, I'm not sure if you guys can relate, but sometimes we lose ourselves and then we don't know where we are at, and you know, who we are or how we got there. And then that's another thing, like, okay, I feel really uncomfortable being myself right now because I'm here in this situation. But this is different. This is just acting the way I feel most myself has been giving me some sort of uncomfortable feeling deep, deep, deep within. Chariot in the reverse. There is this dissonance of, on one hand, I know who I am. On the other hand, something within me kind of tells me this is not the way I'm supposed to go. So I feel like we're like done. We're just over it. We're back in alignment. With the High Priestess, we're for sure back in alignment. And we're going fast. And we might even be like, I'm doing all the things that I want to do and I don't care. It's very like Page of Wands, Knight of Swords. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Huh. Yeah, we might have a realization what's not a sustainable way to move forward. And that could also be like that we're just over something, you know, we're over it. We're over something that might have been presented to us that is really not of worth to us. Or we're having a realization that something we thought is the right way to move forward, or the safe or the stable way to move forward, is really not for us. It's really not the way we want to move forward. We might also realize where we do not want, and I think that's even much more important, where we do not want to invest our resources anymore. Or where we don't want to start investing. Maybe we thought about like, oh, maybe I should go, I don't know, apply to this job. Maybe this could be a nice new path for me. And we are realizing like, no, that really doesn't align with who I am. You know, like, why would I do that? I'm gonna stay in my lane. It's like, that's what I'm hearing. I'm gonna stay in my lane. Even though it's difficult and it feels a little weird, but I'm gonna stay in my lane. Because my lane is actually pretty cool here. My lane is pretty creative and colorful and smart and fun. And there's a lot of, and I'm speaking of this thing here in the middle. It's like this lane for me of development of the self, of the creative, expressive self. And it's really mastery, what's happening here. King of Cups is a master. As I said, artist, musician, creative, therapist. It's all a King of Cups. And this is established. This is not just like somebody who is playing around. But an established King of Cups also knows that playing around is really important. Playing around those two cards is really, really important to get to this place of mastery. Queen of Pentacles. I love it. I love it. All right. And we have a Four of Cups in reverse. Maybe we are, in this particular case, we might be just starting to get out maybe of an uninspired phase. Because normally the Four of Cups for me in the reverse is often also for me a card where we take something or accept something that we actually don't think is emotionally what we need or what can make us fulfilled, but we still accept it. That's often for me Four of Cups in the reverse. But in this particular case, I think the Four of Cups in the reverse is coming out of an uninspired phase, coming out of maybe even a little bit of a mopey phase where we're like, nothing is working, no, I don't want this, rejecting offers, rejecting emotional opportunities or opportunities that can make us feel better. We are getting out of this phase. I think we are done feeling bad for ourselves, feeling sorry for ourselves. We might be done taking things or accepting things that we don't need. Six of Pentacles, I love it. Maybe also associating with people we don't feel we're aligned with. And I think in this case, it's really about work for some reason, because Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles and the Sun, the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse and then coming into the Queen of Pentacles is really beautiful, and it's really telling me like, yes, we've learned to not waste our resources on things that aren't for us, because we know exactly where we feel safe, where we feel grounded, where we feel healthy, where we feel strong, where we feel like we have value, where we matter, I want to say. This is what matters, and matter as in what becomes matter, what manifests. So yes, we matter here at this place with the Queen of Pentacles, and in so many ways, especially when it comes to our maybe even emotional labor, I want to say, because with the King of Cups, we could do a lot of emotional labor maybe for people, which doesn't bother us because we know we have it in us, but it's just still, it needs acknowledgement. You know, not everybody is capable of holding space, of being there, of understanding, of being empathetic, of giving people, you know, a cozy environment to express, to trust, to open up, all these kinds of things. And I think with the Queen of Pentacles here, we understand that value, and we also understand that we cannot invest our time, space, resources, body, what have you, into situations that don't feel aligned, you know. There's also this idea of being a little more, I just saw this weird, like, my eyes just made up this weird story here with the, okay, we don't want to invest into certain situations anymore, people, places, I don't know, projects, relationships, what have you. We have this understanding now. It's very clear. It's very, very, very clear understanding. It's very aligned. It's very straight to the core, like High Priestess intuitively knows this is the right thing. And Knight of Swords has all the arguments, all the receipts, all the information, all the stories, all the facts, also not just stories, all the facts that back up this intuition. So it's not just intuition based, and we don't have anything in 3D to hold on to. We can completely rationalize this. We can be like, I don't feel good in this environment because, I don't know, this person, I just don't like this person because this person did this and this and this and that to me and acted like this and acted like that, and that doesn't align with my values, and I don't want to, you know, etc., etc. So and this is not just us imagining things. This is us knowing for sure, specifically, what we will accept. We accept everything because we are in a King of Cups energy. We are like, this is not, you know, this is not getting us off our path or throwing us off emotionally when we don't get something from somebody, or when somebody acts immature, or when we, with the King of Cups, we're very, very mature emotionally, that we don't get bothered. We just don't get bothered. at the same time, we still know that we are not giving situations like this any time at all. So, or any energy. So now this Knight of Swords is coming back like to this Page of Wands, because the question is, you have this great alignment here with the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Ace. So where do we give all this stuff to? We just can't hold it to ourselves. And the King of Cups is really about giving also, about offering, about giving, about not just about receiving. That would be the Queen. The Queen of Pentacles would be also in a receiving or receptive mode, where she's like, okay, I have all this stuff here. I'm going to hang out with my stuff and with my health and with my wealth and with my well-being and with my work and what I have to do. And I'm just going to wait for opportunities to come to me. The King of Cups with his emotional gifts, I want to say, and he has gifts to give. That's what we need to understand also when we speak of you have a gift. People are told like, you have a gift, you have a gift. A gift is here for giving. A gift is not here for keeping. You have been given a gift, and now it's time to, use it to your advantage, or re-gift it, not necessarily the best way to put it, but you have something to give with this gift. And the question is, where do we give this really sensitive skill to perceive beyond what's real, what's said, what's communicated, but to perceive on a vibe, on a frequency, on an emotional level, on a feelings level. That's the King of Cups. That's the gift. Perceiving the world through emotions and through sensing. How can we use this? Or where do we want to put it? It's a double confirmation that we are completely tapped in when it comes to this. High Priestess. Or where is it not useful? Maybe we want to think about not so much where we want to use it, or where we want to direct it, or where we want to gift it. Maybe we want to start thinking, if we don't have answers to that, where it is not appreciated, or where it is not bringing results. And since we are at a place with the Queen of Pentacles where we still have the awareness, and I think just an understanding that we do have enough, it is not so, we don't have this rush to find this new lucrative monetized path, I think. Because where we are at, it's quite comfortable, I feel like, with the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, maybe we have been forcing this new thing that doesn't need to be forced. And maybe that didn't feel so right. Well, I'm gonna pull one of these animal cards. I really like this reading. This is a really interesting reading. It's a regular tarot deck, and it has some text, which I like, on the cards. And it's very cute. It's very, very cute. Eight of Winter. That's the Eight of Swords and the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. I did not see that coming. But now when I come to think of it, it has been... also the cards made me turn in circles, like in my mind. Like, oh wait, we're circling here. there is no, this is actually kind of a trap a little bit to this reading, even though it's positive, you know, but the question is still like, okay, where do we go from this? Like what, now we're here and it's like a lot of analyzing and understanding and ruminating, but we do have clarity, but we don't really have direction, I want to say, if that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So the Eight of Swords is often this, okay, we are in this mind frame that we cannot step out of just yet. And often the Eight of Swords is about patience and waiting for the door to open itself. Yeah. So Eight of Winter, bunting. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you greater self-confidence if you affirm your freedom. So yeah, this is the bird, you know, the bird in the cage, of course, who doesn't fly because he doesn't know how to, he never learned. And maybe this is the big moment right now to understand how to fly. Because flying was always uncomfortable. When I started flying, things happened that didn't feel right. But that was not because I cannot fly or I don't know how to fly. Sunk hard. It's more that maybe, just maybe, people around me were not used to people flying around. You know? Or I was not in an environment that had the right conditions to fly. And I think that's where we're getting somewhere. I think that is much more the case. We don't want to blame people. It's just people create environments, and we haven't been in environments so far where it has felt comfortable to fly. If you want to fly, you need the right conditions. If you want to go high, you need the right conditions. You need the good wind, you need the right plane, you need the right wings, you need to, you know, we need the right circumstances and conditions to make flying a comfortable experience. And I think that's where that's hitting the point. I really like this. Yeah, it's giving me goosebumps. So we need to go into these environments where people fly. I don't know if that makes sense to you. To me, it makes enormous sense, honestly. Where people are building the right conditions so flying becomes easy and comfortable. You know what I mean? They're not making it hard for you to be yourself. They're making it pleasant for you to be yourself. What a beautiful reading. I love it. And then we have an Emperor. So how can we also build the structure maybe to make it more comfortable to be our highest self? Because sometimes we create our own conditions. It's not necessarily people, you know, it's the people outside, the circumstances outside are reflecting what we probably haven't built within ourselves. So the Emperor, beautiful. The Emperor is saying, structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role as you have much wisdom to offer. And I think the leadership part here is really important because we have all this doing and masculine cards, which of course can be or are also part of female body or female identifying person. So the Emperor is also like taking charge, doing the thing, building structure, organizing stuff, and making things happen on their terms. And I think for some reason this is coming through really strongly, making things happen on their terms. It's now time to make things happen on your terms and not back down, especially not to people who want to hold you back and create an environment where it's really hard to be yourself. So that's the reading. That's an amazing reading. I love it. I don't think I want to go into a romantic thing right now because this is just so beautiful and it sums up also, you know, relationships are in there. So it can also show itself in relationships, of course. Yeah, I think this is a really impressive reading. For some reason, the cards came out in a really intense way for me also to read. That was really fun. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me, and please come back next time. Please also subscribe to my channel, and yeah, watch this reading again. I hope you do enjoy my way of reading the cards, and you can also check out what else I'm doing. I'm also an artist, musician, and I make various projects in the art and music scene here in Vienna, and also online you can check out my stuff. So yeah, I hope to see you again soon, and until then, have a great time, and see you next time. Bye.